Hi, this is Alken, and welcome back to my channel. Well, I was watching the Winston Marshall's interview with Andy Ngo. It's on X, by the way, which I forgot to mention. If you want to catch it, it's under Winston Marshall's X page. Of course, some of the other folks, you call it Twitter, but we know that. Right, Stephen King? I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, I was watching the interview and some interesting information came out about Charlie Kirk during this time, and some of it is quite shocking, and some of it I already knew, but I didn't know the extent. Andy Ngo has a book out. I guess it's about the history of the violence on the left, and they were explaining about what was happening around the time of the shooting and so on. And then as they were going on, they would ask, Winston Marshall asked Andy if there was anything else, and then he revealed the information about the threats that Charlie Kirk has gotten over the years. I'd like to play it for you now so you can understand what was going on and so on. I'm going to try to be in the picture a bit because, I don't know, YouTube might say something or something, I don't know. But, well, here's the interview. Give me a second. Like I said, it's on X. This is what it looks like. And I'm going to play you only a portion of it so you can hear what they are saying.
Governor Clark said it at the press conference.
Okay, that's very interesting. So before we zoom out to some of the reaction, is there anything else about the assassination or the suspect that we need to know?
It didn't happen in vacuum. Charlie Kirk's TP USA team did put out a statement after he was murdered that he had received thousands of threats over the years. And Mr. Kirk was not vocal about that, unsurprisingly. For us in this space, there's this uncomfortable reality that if we're effective at what we do, we are subjected to a lot of threats, and you just don't talk about it. One, you're instructed not to.
Yeah, sorry about the Twitter feed that came in. So I'll be skipping or whatever the process is called, so I don't get flagged or something by YouTube.
Your security team, because it can inspire people. It can also, you might say something that might reveal certain vulnerabilities in your security situation. So you just don't talk about it. You don't even acknowledge the existence of some of the credible threats. And I had been and am in that position. There's lots of stuff that the public doesn't know about what I've gone through over the years. And Mr. Kirk's events and TPUSA events in the U.S., across the U.S., have been really brutally attacked by Antifa and far-left extremists many times over the years. It happens so much that it's considered like a norm. Like for one, like at the base level, you should expect that somebody will come up to your table if you're tabling and they overturn it, or that they hit somebody who's at the table. That's happened so many times. Smash a drink on their face.
So there's been assaults from Antifa
many
TPUSA.
Many times where far-left extremists or trans activists will come.
Yes, that many incidents had occurred at Turing Point USA events, and of course, what we explained yesterday, a letter that Zoran Mandami, who was then a nobody, a New York assemblyman, his district in Queens, was going to host a Turning Point USA event with another group. Charlie Kirk's going to be there with Cannon Owens and other people, and Zoran Mandami and other people tried to stop venues from putting the event on. They succeeded with one venue, but they failed on the other one. And when they didn't succeed that way, they most likely that they sent the protesters over there to interrupt the Turing Point USA event. Charlie Kirk was there. So these people were thrown out of the event because they feared the violence. And this is not the first time they had a situation with violence. Not the first time.
They go up, and it's in this context where leftists feel that they openly call for their political opponents to be killed. So what's it to them to go up and flip over a table, dump a drink on somebody, or hit somebody in the face? I mean, at UC Davis, a whole mob of radical, Antifa, and transgender and queer activists, mass, announced they were going to go attack a TPUSA event, and they did it. I think it was in March, just this year in this video. It's during the day. They just went together. They're in black bloc, and they completely destroy the table. Campus police is there. They don't respond. Like, this is sort of the norm and context. And a few years before that, Charlie Kirk also spoke at TPUSA. In that event, had a mob smashing up the windows of the building where he was at. I mean, I've had an event where I spoke in Richmond, Virginia, where there was a bomb threat that was directed. So this is normalized. It's a non-story that this happens day in, day out in the U.S. So this is the context of where the assassination at the Utah Valley University and what happened there. So I want people to remember that. And looking at stepping back slightly further, there's a wider context of left-wing violence that has been escalating in the U.S. that people are completely ignorant about, in denial about, for a number of reasons. One, we see it happening now because people lie. People with power lie. People with loud voices lie. They lie in the press. Or they put up misleading narratives. For example, like the Daily Beast story wasn't lying about...
Yes. So, like he's saying that I had to cut it short. They would spread this information any way they can, especially through the media, to the social networks and so on, that activate these folks and they do all these things. And that's exactly what happened Monday with Jimmy Kimmel. He's one of these folks that he's so far left. He doesn't care about the truth. When he put out the information about the gunman was MAGA on the right, he was trying to take advantage. He was repeating the talking points and narrative of the Democratic Party and so on. And that's why he got clobbered badly that night. And when he didn't want to apologize Tuesday or Wednesday, that's when Nexstar and Sinclair and then finally ABC Disney had to pull the plug on him. That's why his show hasn't been on the air. We still don't know if he's going to get back on the air. We don't know if he's going to apologize or not. If he doesn't apologize, and doesn't meet the criteria that Sinclair Network put out, he's not going to be on it. But you see, that's how misinformation has been spreaded, because it activates the base, and these folks, whether they're transgender or not, they get roused up, and they do all these crazy things. That's why you're having the violence is happening across the country right now. But of course, it's not just transgender folks. You got people on the left, non-transgender, doing the same stuff too. But this is the thing. What pissed me off was this guy, Zoran Mandami, now running for mayor for the city of New York, tried to, one, shut down Charlie Kirk's event, trying to deny him his First Amendment right to free speech. When that didn't work, they probably spread this information to their social medias and EA personnel and spreading out lies and saying that Charlie Kirk is a fascist and an extremist and all that stuff. That's what the words that we're using over the years, calling Charlie Kirk a fascist, an extremist, and a Nazi over and over again, to the point that people will believe it and they'll say, oh, we gotta take out that Nazi, and I want to be the hero. And that's why you had the shooters saying, I hate Charlie Kirk. I don't like what he stands for, and I gotta do something to stop him. But that's what was happening. Like I said, New York's event, when they couldn't stop him from speaking, they had the people out trying to disrupt it. Also putting Charlie and Kirk and other people's lives in danger because, say they had incidents where they had tables turned, people getting assaulted, windows broken. He had an event, where they had a bomb threat. I think that after this information came out, I think that the city of New York, Mayor Eric Adams, and NYPD should reconsider and suspend, remove, or eliminate Zoran Mandami's police protection. He should pay for his own security. I do not want our tax dollars protecting this individual when he just went and violated Charlie Kirk's First Amendment right to free speech, the freedom of religion, freedom to assemble. I think that Zoran Mandami should lose his police protection. Let him pay for his own police protection. Security protection. He should not get any more taxpayer police protection. That is to send a message to him and others that if you're going to continue this other nonsense of antagonizing people, threatening people, whether it's Charlie Kirk or ICE or the President of the United States, and think you're going to get away with this stuff, you have to send a clear message. You're going to have them suspended, fired, thrown in jail, or whatever he had to get him to stop this nonsense. It's just not justified. I just don't care at this point. I think Zoran Mandami should lose his right to the NY police protection that he has now. There is no justification for him to have it. He can afford his own security staff. Let him pay for it. That way you send a clear message, not only to him, but other politicians, that they continue to do this nonsense, that they should be facing severe consequences. The other day you had 11 officials got arrested for causing a ruckus at a nice facility in 26 Federal Plaza in New York City. And they did it while they were supposed to be working. They were not working. They were protesting at the plaza, saying that they wanted to get in to do an evaluation of the ICE facility. No. You're supposed to call ahead and do that, but they do whatever hell they want. But the thing is this: if transit employees were to go off the job while they're supposed to be on duty, you get hit with the Taylor law. Correctional officers, when they had the Wildcat strike, they got hit with the Taylor law. There's no Taylor law for politicians who's doing this. It is something that needs to be said, that if you're going to be doing this stuff, you have to do it on your own time. Non-taxpayers' dime. And if you're going to be abusing the system, you need to be punished just like a criminal. There is no justification for you to go around protesting something the federal government is allowed to do, and the Congress voted for this, by the way, Democrat and Republican, and if they didn't like it, they're supposed to change the law. They didn't do that. Did they? They had 4 years of Biden. Did they change the law? Nope. They didn't. But then again, at the same time, with Zoran Mandami, and I'm going to keep saying this again and again and again, he violated Charlie Kirk's First Amendment rights. And when he couldn't get his way, He probably had people sent over to disrupt the event, because it turns out that a lot of electeds had done this. And it's not just civilians. You got your politicians doing the same thing, sending out dog whistles about going after these good folks and causing chaos and problems. So yes, I don't trust Zoran Madami. I think he's a threat to the city of New York. I think he's not suitable to be mayor for the city of New York. He shouldn't even be an assemblyman. He should lose his U.S. citizenship, and he should be deported back to Uganda. If he can afford to have a wedding over there and high price security with nice weapons, I don't mean a little pew pew. You know how they protect themselves in Africa with the big guns. Then yes, he should pay for his own security. Stop using taxpayers' money to help him. Enough is enough. I don't agree with anything that Zoran Madami has said or done so far. He's leading in the polls because he's misleading people and thinking that he's this great, wonderful person. He's just another Gavin Newsom with a beard. That's what he is. He's another Gary Newsom with a beard. Jimmy Kimball is no different than Zoran Madami. They almost look alike. They spread the same garbage. Except that Jimmy Kimball gets busted. Does Zoran Madami get busted? No. But he should start facing the consequences of his actions. They should do also an investigation to see what happened at that event and what involvement he had, if besides the letter. Did he do anything else? Did he encourage people to come over there and cause problems for Charlie Kirk and Turing Point USA, Cannon Zones, and the other group that was special to speak that time? And all that has to be investigated. He cannot be allowed to skirt what he has done and get away with it. Especially now what happened to Charlie Kirk. Everything has to be under the microscope. And people continue to ask for violence or putting dog whistles or code words out there to go after ICE and stuff. I think you need to do a serious crackdown on these folks, because that's the only way they're going to stop this violence and nonsense. I'm not talking about the trans people. I'm talking about the politicians right now. Because once you get them, the rest will follow and they will stop. Yeah, I'm pretty angry. I mean, Charlie Kirk should be alive. He should be with us right now. And he's not. Because of the poison that these people put in these individuals' heads, to the point, is why we ended up with these signs here. And on the memorials and the visuals, a man lost his life because he wants to debate. A woman lost her husband. The children lost their father. All because people like Zoran Madami and others want to continue to put the temperature up and cause chaos. When one thing doesn't work, another one takes its place. And we're going all the way back to 2020 and the chaos of the Summer of Love. I understand one other thing from Andy Ngo. He said that back in 2020, when a Trump supporter was killed on the streets of Portland, they were celebrating his death. That was, I think, one of the first political murders. In fact, they threw up a party. They had a DJ to celebrate the murder of this Trump supporter. So this is not new, what's happening right now. When Charlie Kirk got killed and people are celebrating on Blue Sky and social media. This is not new. You have people celebrating when the CEO of United Healthcare was assassinated. You had people celebrating when Trump was almost assassinated. But the firemen got killed. They were celebrating both. It's getting to the point that we need a turning point in this country. And that's hopefully what we will get out of this tragedy. That something good will come out of it, and it looks like it will. And with Charlie Kirk now in control of Turing Point USA, I think we're going to see a lot more positivity coming out of this, and changes that unfortunately the gunman didn't see coming. So this is Al Can saying so long for now, and don't forget your star. And don't forget tomorrow, Charlie's funeral at State Farm Stadium in Arizona. Night.